Good morning, good evening, good day. Jonathan Regan, also known as New Questions here from Blockchain Education. We're going to do a market recap. Specifically, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin for the first couple of minutes, and then we're going to talk about some of the altcoins that are appreciating insane. I got to say, some of these gains that the signal system is doing now are just unbelievable. Right, let's talk about Bitcoin. I've run a sort of Fibonacci area out of here. Once we had that trend change back here at the beginning of the year, we had about 12 months of downtrend, and then we had a directional change, and we've gone into this uptrend. And you can see that I've sort of found myself a sort of a 12 to 24 hour period that represents what I consider the extreme of the Fibonacci zone. We've had a couple of taps here, a couple of taps here, a tap here, and as we know, we broke below the base of this descending triangle. We discovered that, and we talked about that in the last video, and you can see once again, here's the discovery. So we've come back down into this 50% retrace area exactly as I predicted. So this area here is a 50% Fibonacci retracement. That means that we start down here, we get all the way here, and we break all the way back down to 50%. And guess where we are right now on the 50% level in the low 8,000, just under 8,000, dipping, holding support here. We can see that the ADX is actually increasing and it's negative. So let's just jump in on the 45-minute, my preferred time period. I'll clean up this chart and we'll have a look here. How do we know that we're going to continue going down? Well, I would draw your attention to this particular area here. Lots of red activity on the ADX. A strong threshold above 25, meaning that this downtrend is still continuing. It's still trending. In fact, it might even be accelerating. We are below the 50 moving average, which is this particular red line here. We're below the mighty 200 moving average. We're dragging across the bottom of the RSI cave. And more importantly, we're making a series of lower highs. So you can see we're just one after another, after another, after another, after another. Is the next one down here? We'll see. And a series of lower lows. So we've got lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Essentially, we are going down in this direction, and there is nothing that we can do about it until we see a directional change. Will that come on this Fibonacci zone? That's a good question. Let's quickly bring up Ethereum. Ethereum US dollar tether suffering much the same fate. We saw when it broke below the 50 and the 200, that crossover there, boom, goodbye. And what have we had since then? We've had the better part of 20% in 3 days. Obviously, also extremely easy to see this. ADX going negative and picking up strength here. Is Ethereum going to recover any faster than Bitcoin? Probably not. I'll tell you what is recovering, and well, actually that's not the right word. I'll tell you what's exploding in value while all this is going on, and that's DOC. Multiple calls in the system by the analysts, multiple signals by the algorithms, and we have absolutely nailed this one. I'll turn on the RSI cave number 2, turn that one off, and you can see that this initial explosive move here was caught by the system multiple times, came back into the 200, dipped below it, and look at this entry point here, the 250 crossover. Down here you can see that the ADX went green and the threshold, crossed over the threshold, and what a fantastic entry this is. Let's have a look at this. Called multiple times, recently going as high as 45% in a single day. That's in the system. And as I suggested before, the trend is easy to spot. Series of higher lows. This might be a new higher low. Once again, we're going to have a look up here. A series of higher highs. We're getting a higher high. Maybe we're moving up here. I suspect that we could go as high as 200. It's going to take a while, I've got to admit. Just one of the coins that we're calling inside the blockchain education service, IOTA, a new player in the market, not in terms of the cryptocurrency being added, but one that we've picked up. I mean, the analysts and the algorithms have picked this up only recently. And have a look at this. Brilliant, brilliant looking chart. I know that we've called it several times since this crossover here, and if you were to get in then and you're simply sitting on it now, you're up 40% in the last 2 weeks. But you can see that we had great set of higher highs here, and then a retracement back into that 200. We see the ADX, and we see this beautiful recovery, a kind of like a support level, the 200, the 50 moving averages, kind of sitting there supporting each other. The bands break out again, and once again this 50 moving average is doing really, really well. Looks really, really nice. Nothing to say other than a set of higher lows and higher highs. IOTA, or myota as it's called, is doing extremely well, and that's no fluke. Analysts and the algorithms were all over that. As I mentioned, Link also doing extremely well. We've been calling this for a few weeks as well. Once the crossover came here, we went as high as 38% in 7 days. Continues to make a series of higher lows. You got a low here, a low here, a low here, a low here, one here, potentially representing a reversal. We know that when this happens, this crossover here, this is your warning signal. Once that black line goes down here, this is your warning signal. So potentially not called yet. We could see the beginning of a decline for Link. I'm going to clean it all up. I'm going to throw a Fibonacci chart up there, have a quick look. I'm going to go out of the lows down here, go to the highs here. Let's clean that up a little bit. We'll come out of this zone here. This is probably more, no, maybe not appropriate. Let's have a look at some crossover. Crossover here, back into it here, resistance here, support here. Obviously our top. Yeah, very much a sideways section here, represented by the fact that the ADX is below 25, representing a non-trending asset. So we may see a little bit of weakness in Link. Another way to look at it is to look for a series of lower highs. And if that was a high, this looks like a lower high, this is a lower high. We may see a move back down here into this 200 moving average, which you can see here is starting to lose a little bit of strength. Certainly under 25. We're not seeing too many green positive DI candles here, so might want to stay away from Link. Certainly explosive movement out of that 200 zone, running 38% in 7 days, all caught by the analysts and the system, but now starting to lose a bit of strength. Recently only just started talking about ZRX, been in the system for a while, but we really got that kick which I was looking for. Look at this, back into the 200 moving average, and a real kick since then. This kick over the last couple of days, worth right now another 25% in 2 days, caught by the system and the analyst to go with the initial explosive move here, which was a 64% in 4 days. So absolutely massive, monstrous week for ZRX. Talked about that in previous videos. It's been in chat as well. And once again, we see this beautiful crossover here. It departs the 200, it departs the 314, the bands start expanding, we drag along the top of the cave. This is all very much part of our methodology, and none of this surprises me at all. We're looking at a move that's gone 75% in 9 days. Some people are sitting out there complaining that Bitcoin has gone down 20%. I've missed out on a 75% move, which is insane. And nothing unusual, just part of our methodology. TNT talked about it in the last call, in the last video rather. Once again, continuing a series of higher lows, just as I predicted, and also potentially a higher high just about to kick in. So where are our lows? Higher low, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, this one, this one, this one. Are we going here? Are we going to get a series of higher highs? High, 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 high. Where's our high? Are we coming up here? We're starting to look like we're going to go up in this direction. I have a feeling that we're going to see a little bit more strength here. We're now actually starting to see some sort of negativity in the ADX. So now is not really the perfect time to entry. This was the perfect entry as predicted by the algorithms and the analysts. We've been calling this multiple times over the last week. Not the best entry right now. However, it may stage a move back into this 200 before bouncing once again. Really strong trend. I like the look of TNT. Not quite as much as I like the look of MDMA. Oh, not MDMA. Well, that's let's just refine that. MDA. Nothing wrong with MDMA, but we're talking about MDA. Let's talk about MDA. You can see this is a recent move, explosive move straight out of the 200 and the 50, 50% in 2 days, caught by the analyst, caught by the system, already in the system, already being auto-traded by hundreds of members. So easy. Come on, guys, look at this. Explosive move, same pattern setup, ADX positive with a DI positive and plenty of trend strength there. Deadly simple entry here, picked up, auto trade this, and you get yourself a clean, what are we, 50%. Had 2 days to think about it. Would I suggest that this is a time to take profit? Possibly. Possibly not a bad place to be taking profit in this zone. Why would I say that? Starting to look like we have a bit of a decline in the ADI value, ADX value coming down here, series of lower highs in terms of our DI positive values. We don't want it to get back into this 25 zone. That means that the trend is officially over. What else can we say? If you look really closely, potentially that's the high, and this is actually a lower high. So I don't know. I'd say it might be a nice time to start taking profits with MDA, not MDMA, just MDA. Loom. Second last one we're going to talk about today. Loom, once again, another explosive series of calls and algorithms, picked all this sort of stuff up. We see excellent entry right here. Bang, there's our entry signals. Great place to be entering as it departs the 200 and the 50. Fantastic retracement, straight back into that 50. Look, bang, straight back into this 50. Bang, get in, goes back up again, goes back up again. Two opportunities to take a nice quick, what are we talking about, 20% there. And then even if you got in sort of halfway up this candle, you're still looking at around about 50% in one day. Not surprising that Loom has been all over our system. Lots of members making money with Loom. All right, finally, let's go back to RCN, discuss that in the last couple of recaps as well. Continues to make a series of higher highs. None of this, once again, surprising. Entry points multiple times all the way up here. I went and had a look, and I think this has been called 7 times in the last 9 days or 10 days or something. And why not? We see once again that we have a series of higher lows. Look how consistent these higher lows are, constantly moving up. This could be the end of the trend, although I got to say a series of higher highs as well, but constantly producing higher highs. Beautiful looking trend coming up in this sort of way. We are now starting to see the potential here for possibly a lower low. So it's come down here and created a low, and it's come down here and created a low. 2 candles, 45 minutes long, 90 minutes sitting at this level. Technically, we were a bit lower here, but I got to say, with these bands starting to contract, look at the distance from here to here. Look now, look at the distance here. So we're having a bit of a contraction here. We've also noticed one of our exit signals is starting to look pretty ominous. We've had a decline in DI value. The trend has fallen. We're definitely thinking about taking profits in this zone. Been an explosive run for RCN, called from the very beginning by the Blockchain Education Group, 350% in 10 days. I don't care what you say, there's not that many signals groups out there putting out the sort of quality of the signals that we're putting in. We don't miss stuff like this, 350%. We have a strategy to get you in early. It doesn't change. It's a methodology that's worked for 3 years. We have a strategy to get you out. I'm kind of revealing some of that in these sort of educational YouTube public videos. But if you really want real-time, 24/7 support, encouragement, early signals and exit points, then think about becoming a Blockchain Education member. There's really nothing you need to worry about. 7-day refund policy. You can come in, check out the training videos. I've done hundreds of training videos. They're all posted inside the secure membership system, along with a chat platform with over 1 million messages, as well as hundreds of members you can talk to, multiple staff in different time zones. We've got offices all around the world. If that's not as much of the sales messages, you can, I don't know, like, you want more? Go check out our sales page video, extends on what I've been saying here. None of these are a fluke. Like I said, we've been talking about them for probably 2.5 weeks in the chat. Great calls. And all this while Bitcoin, US dollar tether is sort of declining in value. Well, let's pull that one up. Where are we now? Still sub 9,000. Where are we going to? I got to say, it doesn't, to me, look like any stage of recovery so far. Trending down, negative. Look at the average band, still under the 50, still under the 200. I'm still bearish on Bitcoin, but I'm very bullish on some of those other coins. Now, right now, I think there's 86 short-term signals, about 120 medium signals. There's at least 60 hot signals. So that's about 200 entry points, including the active ones that we keep adding, that will help you get into other coins that are actually going up. They're appreciating way faster than Bitcoin is depreciating against American dollar. And that ultimately means that you're going to make money as part of the trading system. New announcement coming up concerning automated trading, hybrid automated trading system already in effect, as you can imagine. But we're also doing a partnership with a couple of other companies, which we're going to announce. And that's going to be a complete game changer. Not only are you going to get the world's best signals, you're going to get the support and the automation to go with it. And I'm really excited to continue doing this type of public and private education on the back of the success that we're having with these signals. All right. Talk to you soon. Best of luck. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. If you're an existing member, thank you for your support. It's been a difficult road over the last 12 to 18 months. Bitcoin has not made it easy, but let's face it, Bitcoin going from $3,200 up to $14,000 over the last 6 to 8 months. Beautiful move. Good work, Bitcoin. Give it a bit of a breather. Let it get back into that $8,000, $7,000 region. We might even tap $6,500 and end up getting a sort of 61.8% Fibonacci retrace on that $14,000 move. But seriously, that still means that if you bought in at 3,200, you're still doubling your money in the last 6 to 12 months in Bitcoin. And as I mentioned, Bitcoin to me and to the rest of the group here is just probably the most boring coin of all. It's our base currency. We measure other altcoins against Bitcoin. And as you can see, when RCN runs 300% in a little over a week, does anybody really care if Bitcoin goes down 15 or 20%? Certainly not our community. Talk to you soon.